All right, Evan. So we are going to look at those who we've lost, and it's I don't know how big our list is.
It's fairly short because we did do this on Saturday, so
Okay, yeah.
last week. So I guess we'll start with music. So Ray Hildebrand of Paul and Paula, who had the 1963 number one record, Hey Paula.
Hey,
Did you
hey,
guys
yeah, yeah, yeah,
know that one?
yeah, yeah.
So Ray Hildebrand passed away at the age of 82.
Wasn't named Paul.
No, it was Ray and Jill were Paul and Paula. Ray Hildebrand and Jill Jackson.
Okay.
Why they're Paul and Paula, I don't care enough to go look up. So, um,
Okay.
Canadian disco band Line. Do you remember them?
No.
They had the hit number one dance hit "Your Love" in 1981. Dennis and Denise LePage, but Dennis LePage passed away at the age of 74 of cancer.
I'm not familiar with that. No.
It's one of those ones that if you were ever in a disco or a dance hall, you might still hear sampled. I'll put it that way.
All
So,
right, I'll look it up.
yeah. From the world of race car driving, we lost Bill Vukovich II, who was in the championship car division of USAC and kart, finished second 1 year in the series. More than anything, it's impressive that he lived to the age of 79 because his father, Bill Vukovich, who was Indianapolis 500 winner, won twice, died in a car crash. And his son, Billy Vukovich III, also died in a car racing crash. So the fact he lived out his natural life at the age of 79 is kind of amazing. Vukovich was a member of the National Midget Racing Hall of Fame, which is midget cars, not the inappropriate term for Oompa Loompas.
That's where I was going in my head.
Yes, I knew it was. Also passing away, George Montgomery, a member of who won the NHRA national title several times, passed away at the age of 80. And member of the Motorsports Hall of Fame of America, member of the International Drag Racing Hall of Fame as well. It's always weird when race car drivers live long enough to die of old age.
Honestly, as weird as it sounds, yeah, no, it's true.
Yeah. From the Olympics, James Parker, American track and field athlete, or hammer thrower, representing the U.S. in the Summer Olympics, won a silver at the Pan American Games, passed away at the age of 47. I don't know from what. But he passed away, as well as Tom Courtney, 2 gold medals in the 1956 Olympic Games, 800 meters in Melbourne, and the 4x400 as well. He made it to the age of 90. Died in a assisted care facility. So I think that is it for my Olympians. Yep. So from the world of football, well, actually, I'll come back to football. Let's do baseball first. Here's a name you might remember. Alex Cole died. Former center fielder for the Twins, Red Sox, Rockies, Pirates, and Indians in the 90s.
Alex Cole?
Alex Cole, yeah.
No, I don't know that name.
Okay. Well, he played for the Red Sox, so I thought he was a pretty good player. He played for us in '96, and then was released midway through the season. I always liked him when he particularly was with the Twins. But he had passed away at the age of 57. He would have been 58. He passed away on the 11th. He would have been 58 on the 17th. So he passed away at 57. From the world of wrestling, we have a couple people we need to talk about. But let's do football first. So Carl Cornell passed away. Romeo Cornell's younger brother, played with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and then most of the time in Canada, won the Grey Cup with the 74, 77, and 79 Montreal Alouettes. But he passed away at the age of 74. Also passing away, Steve Sidwell, the head of the Dome Patrol, the coordinator of the Dome Patrol.
Yeah.
Yep. So he also was defensive coordinator of the Oilers, Colts, Patriots in the what can I think of his name? Coach of the Seahawks. It's out of my head right now.
Hmm.
Who coaches the Seahawks right now?
Oh, Pete Carroll.
Pete Carroll. So he was defense coordinator in the Pete Carroll era for the Patriots,
Okay.
and was with the Seattle Seahawks through 2002. But he passed away at the age of 78. I also have Maxie Bond, who we talked about very quickly, passed away at the age of
Yeah.
80. One of our final 12 candidates for the
Died
Hall.
the day before they were sort of like going to announce or meet rather.
Yeah, that's why I had Bond as my third person just because of that.
Yeah.
But NFL, remember the NFL champion Philadelphia Eagles in 1960, two-time team All-Pro, five-time second-team All-Pro, nine-time Pro Bowler. Remember the Philadelphia Eagles Hall of Fame. As far as we could tell, Maxie Bond, nine-time Pro Bowler and seven-time either first or second-team All-Pro, has never been discussed as a serious candidate for the Hall of Fame, which is, again, going back to what I said on Saturday with, like, why is this guy suddenly a Hall of Famer when he wasn't before, right? Well, because he's never been discussed before, because that's the way the process works. I fully expect Maxie Bond to be a serious candidate for the next through 2025, as somebody who's going to get
Let's
in.
hope so. And I feel bad saying this, but Bond is way above McMichael.
Yes. No offense, but yes. Maxie Bond's credentials are honestly insane that he's just never, I mean, he could have been considered way back in the day when we just didn't know about it because we don't have any even semifinalist data for 2002.
Yeah.
Could have been semifinalist back in the day, he just never got in. But the idea that he's never been in the room fully to be discussed as a nine-time Pro Bowler and seven-time All-Pro is crazy. Like absolutely crazy to think that that's a situation.
As
And
as
Maxie Bond,
as every credential you could possibly think of.
yeah, legitimately. I'm just looking at Maxie Bond. He's
Yeah.
not in the 60s all decade team. I was looking at that. Maybe that's part of it as well.
But like, what's his family going to say right now? Like, if because that Mongo's got that spot, you can't say shit.
No. And I mean, and
If
Powell,
that's the spot he took, which
like, yeah, what are you gonna do? So
I don't know that it was. I mean, I think that Powell took that spot, and I don't think you can have. And maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. I don't think you can have three white guys in that spot.
maybe, I mean, that may be part of
I
it. I
don't
don't think that.
know. I don't know what's going on in that room. It
Yeah.
shouldn't matter. It's disgusting that even have to say that, but
I mean, we had Howley, Klecko, and Riley last, so two white guys and a black guy. So same sort of situation here. We're 2-1 again. So who knows? I mean, Gratishar is. I'm going back, not to go back to this, but Gratishar is incredibly deserving.
well, of course. But if Gratishar is
like,
if Gratishar is your lock and Mongo is your sympathy, then what do you do in your third? I mean, again, we're not in that room. I don't know. And
yeah, I mean, Art Powell finished is third. He's honestly as like I said, out of those six names, he's the only person who's ever all decade for anyone, and he's all decade AFL.
And we like Powell.
Yeah, we do like Powell. It's just surprising from where he came from. I'm not get this right. I wish at some point we have aggregators, but get this right for any aggregators out there. We both think Powell is a Hall of Famer. We're just surprised that it happened this soon. I almost feel like they need an AFL's cleanup at some point here too.
I think some of those. Winston Hill was some time ago.
I mean, Winston Hill, but there's so many. If you go to the AFL, all 60s decade team for AFL, like none of the running backs are in. You have Allworth and Maynard, right? So Maynard was the other one I was thinking of.
Yeah.
But then, so then there's Art Powell, Charlie Hennigan's the next one. None of the tight ends are in. Two of the four tackles are in. I'm sorry, Jim Tyrer is never getting in for reasons.
Yeah, I can't imagine why, but anyway.
Yeah.
It's been a lot, but anyway, go on.
But like, none of the defensive ends are in. 4 defensive ends, none of them are in. John Morris, who's one of the greatest centers of all time, finished second team because he was behind Jim Otto, again, one of the greatest centers of all time.
Right.
Like Jim Otto's and John Morris has never gotten a sniff. He's a Hall of Famer. Like none of the defensive tackles. Buck Buchanan is in, but 3 of the other 4, Tom Seastack, Houston Antwine, Tom Keating, not in. Only 3 or 2 of the 6 linebackers, 1 of the 4 quarterbacks, 1 of the 4 safeties, 1 kicker, no punters, 2 coaches. Like there's just so many holes in this thing. If you did, so let's say Powell's getting in. If you did John Morris, Tom Seastack, Houston Antwine, George Webster, George Staines, and I'm just throwing somebody else out there, and Ed Buddy for the Chiefs, the guard, and that's a hell of a. All those guys are deserving. Like, how do you have an entire league with no running backs in it?
Good
Now, of
point.
course, there are Paul, Clem Daniels, Abner Haynes, and Cookie Gilchrist. So I'm not sure. Cookie Gilchrist is one I know the best. So I don't know how much that matters, but like, I don't. They got to do something about the AFL at some point. Again, you want people for me to advocate for the Patriots. Lots of people talk about Julian Edelman. It's John Morris and Houston Antwine. Those 2 are just complete. And Gino Capoletti. Those 3 are like long ago, long forgotten guys at this point who I'd love to see pop up here at some point. So
I'm personally on Morris, but that's just me.
yeah, I love Morris. But anyway, going back to Maxie Bond, he passed away at the age of 85.
Mhm.
And then we leave with 2 WWE folks. I'm going to start with Bray Wyatt. I actually know who he is. Died of a heart attack, 36.
Okay, so it was a heart attack.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
William Lawrence Rotunda. So, third generation professional wrestler. His grandfather's Blackjack Mulligan. His father Mike Rotunda, and then
IRS, Irwin R. Shyster.
Yeah. So yeah, he passed away, like I said, at the age of 36. I actually know who Bray Wyatt is because I've seen enough of the because of Kofi, I've seen enough of the Royal Rumbles to actually have some opinion on him.
I
But
did
what do you have
not
to
know
say
that it
about
was a heart attack. Like I thought it was. It's kind of interesting because, well, no, I should say no, I guess. Uh, he appeared at the Royal Rumble, which would have been in January, and he was scheduled to go against Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania. And it was made to believe, at least that's what I thought up until recently, up until today, frankly, was that he went away for mental health reasons.
No, so apparently what it's saying now is that in February he contracted a very bad case of COVID and it affected his heart tissue. And he was medically cleared 2 weeks ago to come back to wrestling, and it reared its ugly head apparently and got the heart. Now could have been exacerbated by some of the stuff those wrestlers do to their bodies to get themselves the way they are. But apparently it's they think it may be a heart condition complications of COVID, apparently is what I'm reading right now.
Which is because Bray was not a ripped individual.
He was not.
He was not. No.
He was a big good old boy.
Yeah, I mean, like whatever we're saying now, I mean, obviously, I have a feeling that even if this goes up like immediately, which it's not, there's going to be a bunch of other information. I'll just go with what I know. Bray was a flippin' genius in terms of what he wanted to do with his character and how he tried to do that to make everything work. It didn't always work out, bluntly, but you couldn't keep your eyes off him. At age 36, I know that he's got a young child, or female, doesn't matter. I don't even know what to say here because like I'm still like as we're recording this is only a couple hours away from learning that this happened, and
Yeah.
I'm the WWE guy, I'm the wrestling guy, so like I'm very familiar with all of them. Just you don't hear anything bad about him, and it's heartbreaking. Really?
Mhm. Yeah, I
Nothing. I
mean,
got nothing more, man. I'm
yeah.
sorry.
So he three-time uh three-time world champion, held the WWE Championship once, Universal Championship twice.
Yeah.
Also held the SmackDown Tag Team Championship with Luke Harper and Randy Orton because they had that Freebird rule at one point, I guess. And the
Mhm.
Raw Tag Team Championship with Matt Hardy once.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was only 36 years old. But the one I know you want to spend a lot of time talking about is Terry Funk, who passed away at the age of 79.
Yeah. I mean, Terry Funk was. It's sort of interesting. I think if you ask a lot of fans, who's your Mount Rushmore of pro wrestling, Funk might not be on a lot of it, but if he was, you'd understand.
Mhm.
If you were asked active wrestlers, who's your Mount Rushmore, Funk would have been on all of them. I had the chance to see him perform in 2002 on an independent show against Abdullah the Butcher. I don't remember who won. I have no clue. I know somewhere in my closet there's a program with Abdullah's blood on it, which probably is Hep C or whatever the fuck. But anyway, uh, you can look at Terry Funk's whole story. You can look at every championship he won. There's so many people who can do a bio better than I can, so I'm not going to. I'm just going to tell you what I know, just
Mhm.
my own personal experience, because I feel like I'm promoting my own book, but so be it. I had the pleasure of writing Chavo Guerrero's autobiography, Chavo Senior, and Chavo got to know Terry very well. Uh, Chavo would have been like 8, 7 years younger, or whatever. But both of them had something in common because they were both sons of legends. Terry was the son of Dory Funk, Chavo of Gory Guerrero, and there's when Chavo was still sort of like getting there. So like Chavo, when I first met him, like I'm 5'7", 5'8". I'm taller than him, which
Mhm.
blew my mind when I met him at the San Antonio airport. Blew my mind, because I wouldn't have thought that. But when he talked about, again in the book, when he was 1975, so he hadn't even made it yet. So like he was wearing like 5 pairs of socks to look a little bit taller, like in his boots. And Terry made a bit of fun of him in the locker room, and then afterwards, like he recognized that Chavo felt bad. So Terry pulls him outside. So like, I'm sorry I made you feel bad, but you don't need this shit.
Mhm.
You're Chavo Guerrero. I've seen you work. You are great. You're just you're doing this for you don't need to do this. You're just that good. And if you looked at everything about Terry Funk, and I think it's sort of interesting too, as we're recording this, the day before when Terry passed away, it would have been, oh well, he trended on X, whatever the fuck, at like 2 o'clock. By midnight, he was still trending. This was when like
Mhm.
also at the same time trending was Trump mugshot, putting it in perspective,
I know.
right?
It took me a
So
second. It took me a second to realize what X meant, but continue.
okay, but yeah, I just want to sort of like X Twitter, whatever the fuck. But like he trended for a hell of a long time from afternoon
Mhm.
because and everything you would have read about Terry Funk was influential and fucking great guy. So that's sort of like why I wanted to talk about what Chavo told me about influential great guy, because also he taught Chavo not what to do, but when to do what. Uh, I knew this was sort of coming. I don't know, like a couple weeks ago, I saw something sort of come up that made that happen. And unfortunately, I think he had some type of dementia. I don't know what type. Didn't really
Yeah,
say.
it said he'd been suffering from dementia starting in 2021. I didn't see what that meant though.
Yeah, and you never know how long it's gonna last. And as Evan can tell you, my mom passed away from dementia this year, or was it last year? I don't even know anymore. She had it for so
Time's a
long.
weird suit, man. You get to 3 or 4 days in time. It's just, I don't know. It happened at some point.
Yeah, no, because she just had it for fucking ever. And they both passed away at the age of 79. And you just sort of like think because like Terry took a bunch of headshots and whatnot, but uh for those who are not wrestling fans, just like do Terry Funk promo. There's this one I found that I think you might like, even if you're not a wrestling guy. And it's Terry Funk on the Mike Douglas show with Sylvester Stallone. I just saw it today.
Okay.
And it's because Terry was in the Stallone film right after Rocky, Paradise Alley, which was about wrestling and whatnot. And Terry's just so humble and kind, just the way every other wrestler knew, or everyone who got to know him said he really was.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mick Foley loved that man.
absolutely.
And he was the one who presented Mick Foley for the WWE Hall of Fame back in
2009. Yeah. The Funk
He
Brothers.
got Funk got in 2009, but he presented Foley in
Oh, that's
2013.
right. Yeah. So, but it just shows the whole dichotomy, like that one thing that I never saw until today, which was basically Stallone with Terry Funk promoting that film and just saying like, all right, Terry, show what you do. And then they actually, and then then he just like went into character. And it's just fucking phenomenal. And I just did a show last night, I guess, or with that, with Brad and Andrea.
Yeah.
I guess we learned this yesterday. Sorry. And he said, like, who's Terry Funk? Roadhouse. And then it sort of like all worked out, man. So RAP to Bray Wyatt, and I'm glad we did that first because I still can't articulate how I feel about it. I really don't.
I get it.
Very
And we may find out more. It's saying COVID now, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's a situation or heart disease exacerbated by COVID now.
whatever it is, I still don't know how to feel because I'm still a wrestling fan, and it just
And 36 is too freaking young.
I think also too I at that age where I expected people slightly older than me to die because of what they did.
Mm.
And I'm gonna be 51 tomorrow. Yeah. Uh, but I also too, I mean, like his dad, Mike Rotundo. I mean, like you're not supposed to bury your kid, man. You're just not.
I know. I get it.
But yeah,
So,
Terry Funk. Yeah, I had a lot of fond memories. R.I.P. Man, you're the best.
yeah.